Wow, I love these. She's so beautiful, isn't she?
Hi, I'm Sophia Jessica, and this is Angel, and welcome to the fan carpet.
So, Sam, it's incredible to speak to you. How are you, how's everything going today?
It's good. Yeah, no, I'm equally so excited to talk to you. So thank you for your time.
Awesome, no worries. Yeah, absolutely. We love independent things that are made. It's arguably the where the most creativity is. So, it's fantastic to be able to speak to people that are doing great things. Um, so obviously, Puke Bitch is an intentionally confrontational title. What did you want audiences to feel before they even press play?
Well, I wanted it to kind of seem like a reason to not watch it, because it's kind of like, oh Jesus, like puke bitch, two of the worst words you could think of. It's very visceral and very mean. So the original title of the show is just Guts, because it was talking about like, people that are all different that have like some similarities, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But in the show, Dove, the teen girl, wears this bracelet. I'm actually wearing one right now,
Mm.
to allude to a game that the kids play called Puke Bitch. And I ended up finding out that that term actually refers to people who lack empathy. And that kind of like circled in my themes and ideas for the show as a whole. So I was like, one, this is a great title and everyone's going to hate it, which is exactly what I want. And I thought it really actually represented the show pretty well, which is that might seem gross and scary from afar, but once you look into it, it's actually more human than you would think.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
Thank
So
you.
there's obviously something darkly playful but deeply disturbing in the logline. How did you balance satire, discomfort, and character empathy?
Oh, great question. Thank you. I mean, I think for me, it was just trying to have empathy for the characters, even when they're not very empathetic people. Something I do that it's kind of funny is I kind of become like a method writer, so to say, which is like when I was writing this, I went through like 6 or 7 drafts where I just every time they felt like villains and they didn't feel like characters. And I would get into this very dark and depressive hole and try and question the things that they're going through in myself. Like, do I have empathy? Am I a good person? Why do I react like this to this? And I think through all of that turmoil, I ended up actually finding that empathy for them and tried to write them in a way where it was like they're just people going about their everyday lives, and we might find what they do kind of disgusting or revolting or mean, but to them, it's just how they are. And I even worked with my DP a lot after telling him that. I was like, these characters aren't empathetic, so we need to film them with empathy. And
Mm.
I think we did a good job of bringing that because I think overall it doesn't feel they don't feel very villainous. Only in like certain parts of the episode they feel villainous, which is when they're supposed to, but hopefully that came across right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't have caught the attention of Slamdance if it was only if it was only surface level,
Yeah,
because
I hope so.
they're a great place to be. Um, so the format, having it as a series, was that always the plan, or did you think about it as in terms of a cinematic film, into like, or was it always the plan to just make it into a series?
Well, so I ended up making this as my senior thesis project. I went to the College for Creative Studies in Detroit, and my school thought that the pilot was a terrible idea. They were like, "Why are you wasting your time with this? This is awful." But I had already been writing the show. I think my sophomore and junior year, I was already creating it, so I was like, "Why not use this big assignment as an excuse to get it off the ground?" And theoretically, I guess I could have tried to translate it into a film, but for the amount of time, like I think it would have worked better as like a big feature and not just like a 30-40 minute short film.
Mm.
So I decided to do a pilot. But I think depending on if the show goes anywhere, I am actually still interested in taking that outline for the full season and seeing if that could be converted into like a feature. Um, I do prefer it as a show though. I love the intrigue and the ambiguity that comes with like a mini series format.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you get to spend more time with the characters,
Yeah.
and you can see them evolve with their arcs over the course of the season. No, I
Yeah.
think keep it as a series. That's what I'm doing for what I've written. So
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Does relationship with Roadkill feel symbolic? Is that is that about control, curiosity, trauma, or something else entirely?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely. I think it's also, I don't think she understands what her relationship is with that specific phenomenon yet. I think she's just very intrigued by it. I think it's like very dark in its death, but it's also kind of beautiful because I think she feels sort of maternal towards this being. Like after she, feels the cat and is kind of like running her hands over it,
Mm,
we show that she sleeps with it in bed. And it's almost like funny because it's so strange. And I don't think Dove even really understands why she's doing it, but I think that she feels sort of maternal towards it. I think she sees some similarities in herself and in the animals. Her and her brother are foster kids, and so they've kind of been thrown away and in this system where they're just kind of like taken and, removed and put back together. And I think she sees that and also this animal that's been discarded and just left there to die and decompose, and she wants to take care of it.
mm.
Um, but I also think it looks really fucked up and gross to us. But I don't think her intentions are as malicious as I think they may look. So,
Yeah,
but we shall see.
awesome. Well, no spoilers. I won't ask how it progresses. So there's a religious presence in the story. Is faith a critique here, or a backdrop, or a character in itself?
Wow, that's a great question. I would say almost a character in itself. I don't think I'm doing a critique, so to say, is more so I was just sort of interested in how people like this would adapt and kind of react around that sort of area. Growing up in a
Mm,
small town, we always have that one big church that everyone goes to. We
mm,
get all the gossip, we get everything. And so obviously these characters would go there. For Janet, I think it's more so to blend in and sort of have that mask of humanity that she doesn't really have. For the twins, I think they're kind of roped into going by their foster mother.
mm,
Um, but as we see in the show, even though one of the adult influences isn't very like mature, so to say, the church as a whole isn't really a bad place. It's almost like just sort of like a watering hole. It's where everyone goes, it's where everyone meets. No one's really out to get you, so to say, in that moment.
mm.
So I think I'm more just interested to explore how that evolves with the characters and the journeys that they're going on. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. The siblings mock their foster mother, Lynn.
Yeah.
Is that rebellious cruelty, or a survival instinct, or all three?
Oh my gosh, all three. Obviously Lynn's a bit more like nitpicky, I think, where she kind of like touches them and makes them look a certain way a little bit. But at the end of the day, I don't really even think they care. I think it's just a way for them to react. I don't think they want to give the time and effort and spend their energy on really deciphering whether they like Lynn or not.
Mm,
Which is something I want to go into with more episodes. Is kind of their journey up until this point. They've
mm,
been together, they've been separated. Lynn is just one adult figure in their timeline. And to them,
mm,
that doesn't really matter. Like, but they don't know how long they're going to be with her. They're not going to try and waste their energy, getting to know her or making an opinion on her. So I think it's just easier to default and kind of like make fun of her a little bit.
yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Reynard before. What visual language did you and Reynard Lee develop for the series? Is it handheld chaos, composed stillness, or
Yeah.
something in between?
Yeah, no. So Ray and I, he's amazing, by the way, so talented and such a bright light on set.
Mm,
Um, when we were in pre-production for this, the main thing that we were doing, which is kind of what I said earlier, was trying to kind of foster this sense of empathy for these characters and this world that they live in. We were originally going to make it a little bit more kind of quirky with like more color, more kind of strange angles and everything. And we had like all of the lenses and the cameras set up. And the day before shooting, we went and did a test in all the locations and we hated it.
mhm,
And so we drove like 5 hours back to the rental shop and we traded everything out for a much more realistic sort of vibe. And I'm so glad that we did because I think it was more fun to us in the beginning. We were like, okay, these characters are kind of absurd. We can lean into that and that'll kind of bring this comfort. And then we were like, why were we doing that? We should make them more human and make them more grounded. And then the lenses kind of adapted to that. So
Abs-
our cinematic style became, how do I say, less stylized, I guess. And it still is in some parts, like in the party sequence,
mhm.
it's pretty vibrant, which I really like. But I think we went the right route, making it a little bit more grounded.
Absolutely. That's absolutely amazing. So the world obviously it sounds suburban but twisted. How much of that unease is built into the spaces themselves?
Like, do you mean like like where we filmed or just like in
Mm,
the,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Being
Um,
in real locations, there's nothing quite like it.
Oh yeah. So I would say a ton. I mean, I grew up in like small town Michigan, so it's
Mm,
very dead, very isolated. A lot of the places where we filmed are places that I've just visited on my own. And we didn't shoot in one particular area. It was kind of in like little odd areas all throughout the state. But most of them I've visited before. And through my own experiences, I found that sort of awkward encounter or just sort of tense, unsafe energy. And even with that, something I tried to do with the sound design in the episode is that nothing's ever really that quiet. Like even when you're just watching something, you can always kind of hear something going on in the background, which is something I always feel. Like no matter where I am in a small town, I feel like I can always hear or just sense something going on, and I'm never really alone. Which is kind of funny because I live in the city right now, and I can tell you it's weirdly like more quiet than it is there, and I don't know how that's possible, but.
yeah.
Yeah, so I would say definitely influenced by reality. It definitely always feels sort of like you're being watched to an extent or being listened to, which gives me more anxiety when I watch it as a viewer because I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. Everyone knows what you're doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about the score, but the score is heightened tension, traditionally, or does it mislead the audience, emotionally?
Yeah, of course. Do you mean like just the score or also the soundtrack as
The
well?
score and the soundtrack, like, do they heighten tension, traditionally,
Yeah.
or mislead the audience emotionally?
I think they sort of egg the audience on a little bit in terms of the score. I like it to feel like you're sort of building up to something a little bit uncomfortable, like almost like you've got that sort of butterflies in your stomach. That's a word that I used with my composer Ben a lot. And we went
Mm,
through like seven different versions. At one point, it was like total punk rock Catholic. And and that was fun, but it was also sort of like it felt like it gave you the tenseness that you needed to build up to right away. So we ended up going with this more sort of almost orchestral, sort of like butterfly tension rising music, and I love that. Um, and then with the soundtrack, it's a mix of various artists, all of them amazing, a lot of like indie rock. Um, I don't know. It honestly just felt correct. And a lot of the music that's in the pilot, I didn't plan for, and it would immediately click in the time, reach out to the artists, and they would be like, "Yeah, this sounds really weird." Sure. So, yeah, I think as a whole, it's an interesting juxtaposition to have that sort of more almost like beautiful, sort of tense music compared to like the more grungy rock. And
yeah,
I kind of like the vibe it gives. It gives sort of just strange to me. I don't
absolutely.
know how it reads to you, but I like
Yeah,
that.
no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I love indie rock. It's always been
Me
something
too.
that has been like really close to my heart. My best friend is a musician,
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
and I used to go around with bands when I was younger, like as their road crew, just helping them unload amps and guitars and drum kits and stuff like that. So yeah,
That sounds awesome.
it's
Like a great way to grow up, I bet.
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it was. It was great. In North London. So yeah,
Oh, that's even cooler.
yeah,
Mine would be so lame in Michigan. We'd be playing at dive bars like every night, nothing going on. But
right.
no, I mean, I love that. That sounds great.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. So obviously the performances feel like they need to walk a tightrope between grotesque and grounded. How did you guide your cast to avoid caricature?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thank you. It was definitely tricky, I think, specifically with Larry, who's the brother, and Janet,
Hmm.
those characters can kind of be one note sometimes. And I think for them, what I wanted to say was that I don't really want you to play these characters like villains, because you can kind of like typecast the brother as like the sassy, mean gay type of guy, and like the
Hmm.
with Janet, just like this sort of catatonic woman character. And I saw them as more, and I would do a lot of like meetings with the two of them, kind of talking about here's what his intention is, here's where he's coming from. This is sort of like an outer shell to protect everything that's inside. And I really like that. I think they did a great job performing. I feel like it feels layered a lot of time. A compliment that I've gotten a few times from people who watch the show is that these characters feel like they've already been living and we're kind of just popping into it, which is exactly what I was hoping for. And I hope
Hmm.
that comes across.
Oh,
Um,
it definitely does, definitely does.
okay, great.
And that's kind of what you, that's definitely what you want. You want these characters, like what you're seeing is just a snapshot in a way of what
Yeah.
their lives are, because you want them to feel as though they existed before and not just that they've been slapped together in a writer's room.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I think too in writing it, it was tricky because obviously a pilot is sort of setting the tone, but I wanted
Hmm.
these characters to not seem so round in the beginning. And obviously the plans throughout the season that will shift and characters will kind of evolve. But I wanted to still show connection and just like layers between them. Like
Mm.
I think Dove and Larry are mean characters. They're not very kind people, and yet they have this sort of bond that is very kind and very beautiful to see. And even with Janet, as a serial killer, she still goes about life and she doesn't just go about killing everyone. She has this sort of weird kindness, and that comes from a life of experience on both sides.
Yeah.
And I really want to make the show to show that. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, absolutely. Yeah. Because like both things can be true at the same time. Bad
yeah.
people, but doing for good reasons, having good reasons to do what they're doing. Like
Yeah,
Dexter in a way.
exactly. Like no one's good or bad. It's nothing's
Mm.
black and white. And that's something that I tried to really do throughout this show, the pilot,
Yeah. Yeah.
that there is really no good or bad. It's just people and everyone has flaws. Some bigger than others. Murders, it's kind of up there, but
Yeah.
depends. Yeah.
Well, no, absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite shows of last year, I believe, was Sweet Pea,
That
starring
was great.
Ella Purnell.
That was
That's
really good.
incredible, and she's,
Yeah.
I mean, well, she's incredible anyway. But that
Yeah.
series is incredible, and I'm so glad it's coming back for a season two.
Oh, it
So
did get renewed. I'm so glad. I didn't see that.
yeah.
I binged that whole season in one night, and I was like, "This is so fun." I was like, "I'm ready to go kill someone." So thank you, Ella Purnell.
Well, I'm not. Yeah. I mentioned it before, but obviously, premiering at Slamdance, what does it mean for the project?
It means everything. I've been such a big fan of Slam Dance for, oh my God, I don't even know, probably like almost 10 years. I just love the sort of transgressive media that they gravitate towards. I think it's always really exciting and really edgy and pushes boundaries. And with that said, I always submit whatever I have and I never get in. So I was just like, whatever, we'll submit. Um, and when I got that acceptance letter, I was ironically on the phone with Kim, who plays Janet in the series, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And I hung up on her out of like conversation. And I was in my parents' house. I ran downstairs and almost threw up. I was so excited. I thought they like emailed the wrong person. I was like, this cannot be right. Um, but no, it means everything. I think Slam Dance is so considerate when it comes to
Mm.
picking work, and they do so much for just like filmmakers that are still beginning their careers and doing unique things that aren't widely accepted. And I love that. So yeah, honestly, it's terrifying, but it's also really exciting because I never really imagined that I would even get the chance to do this. I thought it was just kind of something to look towards, like that you could always work towards that. Now it's like, oh, that's happening,
Yeah.
which is really unexpected. So I'm just really grateful and very excited.
Awesome. What do you hope that lingers with them days later?
I really just hope it fosters conversation. I want this piece to not be something that you can just walk away from and kind of be like, okay, well, time to go eat dinner. Maybe at dinner, you're still talking about it. Why did this character do this? How are they this way, but also this? I think right now people really want to look at each other as good and bad. And I think that's why I love this piece so much is that it's just really, really like punch you in the face. Like, this is not as you think it is.
Mm,
The world is not as you think it is. So I hope that people watch it and it just sparks all these conversations. They can hate it, they can love it. Either way, those are still two conversations that are happening, and I think that really excites me. Like I want people to be asking questions and to want to know what's going to happen to these. Um, yeah, honestly, any emotion's fine. I feel a variety of emotions, and I've seen it like a million times. So yeah, I just hope it creates some talk. That's all.
absolute, absolute. Were you editing as well?
Sorry, what?
Were you editing as well to see it so many times?
Yes. Oh my gosh. You don't even know. I think 2026, I've seen it like 50 times already. And yeah, I I don't know. I feel I still feel something. I don't know what this emotion is called. I think I've leveled up on the feeling chart. I gotta like do some research.
Yeah,
But no, it's weird. It's definitely weird and I always want to talk about it. I'm like, oh, I talk about it in like third person as if I didn't direct it. I'm like, oh, that was interesting. Who did that? So,
yeah. Well, I mean that's the power of the characters that they just stick with you because like how I mean you must have had these characters for what a few years at this point before like getting it made.
oh my God, yeah. I had Dove and Larry in specific, I think I've had for like 5 years.
Wow.
And I didn't really even know them. I just knew their names were Dove and Larry, and I knew that
Mm.
they were creepy Catholic kids in my mind, which is it's so random. And so then when I was writing them, it kind of evolved. And I had Janet as well. But those two characters were in completely separate universes in my mind. And when I was writing, I was just kind of curious how they would interact. And that whole show kind of came about because of that. So,
Yeah, awesome. Is Puke Bitch about shock or about what we refuse to look at?
oh, thank you. I think so. Yeah, I think it's supposed to bring things that we right now are very uncomfortable with into the mainstream. For example, in the beginning first 5 minutes, there's that very front on, very explicit shot of Dove's vagina. That was very intentional to put in. When I wrote the script, I kind of wrote that beat because I wanted to meet Dove in a place of discomfort. She's a character that's kind of a shadow at all times. She's always uncomfortable with who she is and where she is in her life. And I thought like a medical crisis was a great way to establish that. And so I wrote it in, a normal thing that all teenagers go through. And I was kind of shocked by the general disgust of people who read the script and were like, oh my God, this is so disgusting. And that disgust always translated to the nudity and not to the woman being murdered at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
And I thought that was just so interesting. Like the the idea that we'd rather see a woman dead than exposed felt very of today because, these conservative themes are very popular right now. And
mm,
so I think I felt very passionate about including that because I think it's like, fuck you. Like, this is just a normal body. It's not sexual. It's not what you want it to be. It's just a body. And we can
yeah,
normalize that. And I tried to do that with a lot of different characters in the script. I wanted it to feel kind of like skin at points. Like we see Janet's body, which is kind of aged and a little bit destroyed from people who have fought back against her throughout her life. And I still think that's also very interesting. People find it disgusting to see an older woman kind of exposed like that as well.
mm,
It's not. I think it's just humanity. So I would say instead of shocking, I would say it was just an attempt to bring light to things that aren't very normalized.
yeah, absolutely. Well, you definitely succeeded. So just finally, where can we find you and Puke Bitch online to keep up with what's going on?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. My Instagram's not my name. I don't know why. It's a long story. It's Sandy Loam, SandieLoam. And then Puke Bitch is just at Puke Bitch series. So yeah, I
Awesome.
would love
All right.
to
Well,
Sure.
I look forward to seeing the rest of the series. I mean, it was a phenomenal first episode. I want to see how it continues. So thanks very much. Take care.
Thank you, Marc.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram for more content. Bye for now.
Open up.
You show what you can do. I hear a siren. Maybe you were wrong about me. I'm dangerous and still be. Why don't you give me a sign like the sea? Your problem is mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe. A London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, or swear at me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.